Groups and campaigners as a disgrace. So are children missing out on vital school time because of the spending cuts? Our Home Affairs correspondent Darshana Soni spent the day with parents at one Birmingham school to find out.
The school run is often hectic, but Fridays are particularly difficult for Angie Wainwright and her children, Charlotte and Zach.
Have a good day. We'll see you later.
Their school has to close early every week because the head teacher can't afford to keep it open. Mrs. Wainwright works in a law firm and is often travelling on Fridays, so can't make it back for the early pickup. So what has it meant for you as a family now with childcare?
It's really inconvenient. You know, my husband and I both work on Fridays, finishing at 1 o'clock. You know, it's been challenging. We've had to put extra things in place to make sure our children are looked after.
It's a headache for many other parents here. The Kings Heath School has 750 pupils and is heavily oversubscribed.
It's not really good. It just shows that they don't care about education in this country.
It's a nightmare for parents. And of course, it's not only just for parents, for students as well. They have less time to school to study.
The primary is well aware of the upset that the decision has caused. The head teacher says she shares the frustration.
We can't have a part-time education system in the country, and it is what it will end up as.
Shirley Hanson has been the head for over 10 years and says years of funding cuts meant she was facing a deficit of £500,000. But the government would argue that, it's just about managing your budgets. Other schools aren't having to do this.
Well, I think quite a few other schools have had to do it. 3 years ago, when all of the budget cuts really started to affect us, we cut the number of staff that we've got. We put on hold all but essential buildings maintenance programmes. We've already cut what we can cut. So at the end of the day, this was the only option that was left to us at this point.
And that option means every Friday the school gates are locked at lunchtime and the Wainwrights have to juggle childcare. They've had to make separate arrangements for the children. Charlotte is picked up by a local dance teacher, a parent herself who has laid on a special Friday afternoon class. Zach goes home with Dad, who has had to arrange to work from home.
Sometimes I play video games and sometimes I play Lego.
So it's not all bad?
Yeah, it's not all bad. Just playtime, really.
Clearly some children are quite happy that they're leaving school earlier, but it's the impact upon time in the classroom that they're losing. It might be a couple of hours each week, but that adds up over the course of a number of years at junior school.
Theirs is not the only school that closes early. Across Birmingham, it's thought that there are now as many as 26. It's difficult to verify just how many schools are closing early because they're not obliged to inform either Ofsted or the Department of Education or even their local authority. But we understand that across the country, as many as 250 schools could be resorting to this practice as they struggle to balance their books. The government says it recently pledged an extra £14 billion for schools over the next 3 years, although the extra money won't start to be available until 2020. Darshana Soni, Channel 4 News, Birmingham.